What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, the big day is coming. People are saying that I got the prediction right. Again, it was just wishful thinking and hoping that they would get it out before the end of Q1. And so we are going to get land 1.75 on March 18th. Again, I would have been cool if they had pushed it to April 1st. Again, that's like literally one day past March 18th. But you know what this means, or one day past Q1 and only one release window past March 18th. But you know what this means now. I do believe we're going to get, hopefully, and I know this is outside the scope of the video, but hopefully that means we're going to get Conclave Arcana on that April 1st. Again, maybe I'm pushing too much here. Maybe I'm getting a little too much wishful thinking, but my expectation is that they want to get it out sooner rather than later, right? Really start pushing the markets. But if it's not April 1st, then maybe April 15th. Maybe they have a week to cool things off. We'll see how it goes. But that date is now open for them to get the Conclave Arcana pre-sale. So lots of exciting things happening across the Splinterlands universe right now. So they put a post out. I would say that none of this information is necessarily new. There's a couple of little details that I think people should know. So I'm not going to read this entire thing to you, but we are going to go through it just piece by piece because I think it's important for people that were getting this piece by piece with the land updates that were, Cryptomancer was putting. I was doing videos, I think every week, most of the time. But now we have all this information in one place. So hopefully this will be a good refresher for those of you who've watched everything. And for those of you who didn't, well, now you have all the information in one place. But it is coming on March 18th during that update. Now, here's the thing. New resources. We're going to have wood, stone, and iron. They are the essential building blocks for land productivity. The work sites are now terrain dependent, and I believe it's going to auto-convert into wood, stone, or iron. So if you have a work site already on that's grain, but it's the land type or the terrain is supposed to be something else, it'll auto convert for you. You shouldn't have to spend anything else on that. There will also be new LPs and resource swaps, so it is a truly player-driven economy. There's going to be DEC LPs for each of these, and direct resource swaps will be offered. So meaning you can go directly from wood to grain rather than going from wood to DEC to grain, right? That's all going to be happening on the back end for you to make it just one transaction rather than two. I mean, on the back end, it'll still be two transactions, but the system will do that for you, which is something that we don't even have in like Hive Engine, right? So this is fantastic, or Tribal Decks, I should say. And then LP providers will earn fees, turning liquidity management into another avenue for earnings. Now, that's not new, but some of the ways that you can track your earnings will be new. So that's fantastic. All right, so new liquidity pool fee toggle is now live. Managing your liquidity rewards just got easier. We've added a new toggle switch, which allows you to seamlessly switch between the total fees for the entire pool and then the fees you've individually earned as a liquidity provider, which I think is important, right? Because when people look at this, it's hard to tell, especially with the fluctuating price of DEC or grain or any of these new resources, what you're earning is in these resources. But let's say, for example, right, the price of DEC goes down. Well, your total value of liquidity in US dollar terms goes down, but you might have more DEC, you might have more wood or grain or whatever it is, right? So now you'll be able to look at it and see what you earned. And I don't know why these are all so, can I make this like full screen? No? Okay. That's fine. Let's just see if we can zoom in here. It's not going to be great, but it is what it is. So you'll be able to toggle so you can see all markets and then my markets. It's going to show you what your contribution is, the fees that you've earned, I believe in each of the, right? So it's going to show you how much grain you've earned, how much DEC, and what the total US dollar rollup is, what you've earned. Oh, this is for today, this is for this month, and this is for grand total. So that's actually really cool. I like that. And I know this is something big that Cryptomancer wanted to add, so I'm glad he took the time to do it. Because for the people that do treat land as like a business, right now you can actually track this stuff and see, okay, if I'm putting in X amount of DEC or any of these other resources in per day or per month, like what's the expected return? And then can I pull just the return out and maybe reinvest that in land, right? Let's say you're earning like 10% on the LP, the liquidity that you're providing. And again, I don't know what it is, but let's just say it's 10%. Well, then every month you can go in, or every week that you can go in and just be like, all right, I'm going to pull out 10% because I can see that's what I earned, and I'm going to reinvest that in land or buy some cards or whatever, and I'm not touching my initial principal. And that's the thing. That principal might be different in US dollar terms, but it's going to be the same in the grain, DEC, wood, DEC, whatever it is. But keep in mind, all of that stuff is also very flexible, right? Because as the prices fluctuate for each of these respective resources, the amount that you hold also fluctuates. So this is going to be interesting to track. I'm curious to dive into it and see not necessarily how accurate it is, but how helpful it'll be for people. So, but I'm glad that the tool exists. All right, gameplay and UI enhancements, so smarter, smoother land management. So there's new map filters, makes it easier to see what resources your land supports at a glance. So since it's introducing 3 new resources and productivity, you'll want to be able to filter it by terrain. We already know the production points. Grain is remaining unchanged at 0.02. We knew that wood, stone, and iron were going to be significantly lower, right? Making them a key resource for both landowners and the Splinterlands economy. But production, as I say here, is just the beginning. Wood, stone, and iron will also be required to generate SPS in research. The consumption rates will match the production rates, meaning that when you harvest SPS or research, for every base point, every base production point, you will consume X amount of wood, stone, and iron, right? So the cost of this stuff is going to start going up, which should make it interesting because not as many people will be able to dip into the SPS pool, which might make it more, even though the costs go up, the rewards might be higher, right? In terms of the amount of SPS that you can get, since not everybody will be able to do that. And other people might start chasing, let's say wood or stone is underrepresented. Some people might start chasing that rather than choosing to use their wood or stone specific terrain to go for SPS, right? So this is going to be a very complex, dynamic economy, which is exactly what Matt wanted to build, and we're finally going to see at least a better version of this than 1.5. 1.5 was easy to manage because it was so basic. Now this gets a little bit more complex. It's not as complex as 2.0 or even 1.8, 1.9, whatever those end up looking like, but it is a significant move forward, and it will lead, hopefully, to a lot of DEC burning through the swaps, because before, people could just become grain independent or fully self-sufficient. Now it's going to be very difficult to make sure that you're getting all 4 resources at the values that you need them, or at the quantities that you need them, in order to get SPS or DEC or whatever the case, or not SPS or research, right? So to put this in perspective, if you have 5,000 production point research plot, you'll need the equal amount of wood, stone, and iron to match it, along with grain to be fully self-sufficient. The one change that I talked about in the last video, totem fragments can now only be found when harvesting research or in castles and keeps, so making these plots even more valuable. I think that's great. I talked about it briefly in the previous video. It gives more utility to research, which is something that we've all been kind of wondering about, what's going to happen with research outside of Matt just saying it's going to be super important. Well, here's one baby step towards that, which I think is great. And then new UI icons for type, geography, rarity, improve the overall experience. So a lot of UI stuff. Now here is the final kind of warning that they give. Prepare now or get left behind. No stockpile of new resources will exist at launch. So if your land is producing research or SPS, you'll need the wood, stone, and iron on your first harvest. So they're giving you a pro tip here. Claim your SPS and grain. The update, or I think they mean research, but claim everything, right, before the update to avoid delays and maximize your production from day one. Because let's say all of a sudden, you need this stuff, let's say you need wood or whatever, and it automatically, well, it shouldn't translate, but you'll have to wait, right? If your worksite capacity to get research or SPS is higher or maxed out, you'll have to wait until you can get those resources, and you either will need to go buy them day one or week one, which the prices are probably going to fluctuate before they find an equilibrium, or you'll just have to wait it out if one of your other land plots can get the required amounts. So make sure you do this Monday night, Tuesday morning, whatever time it is for you. All right, so land 1.75 is more than an update. It's a turning point in the Splinterlands land ecosystem. Whether you're a land baron, a strategist, or an economy-savvy player, this update offers new ways to grow, trade, and profit, but this is just the beginning. So March 18th for land 1.75. Very excited about this. Congrats to the team. Looking forward to hopefully a successful and smooth release, but that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.